The girl notices that the guy treated her well then, so she doesn't understand why he did it. Can't look at the situation from her point of view now. Yuxi notices that she has a big heart here, the future, but if the others find out that she cheated on them, then she won't be able to work anymore. Here, she asks Yi-Chen to break up with her. The hero says that she cheated on him, so he doesn't have to protect her reputation, so he's not just going to break up with her. So, here the beauty, pointing her finger at the guy, declares that he is also not soft and fluffy because, if he wasn't broke, she wouldn't have cheated. Yuxi wants to say what he should have done. If he really loved her, however, the immortal stops tolerating these antics. In a pair, inches from the girl's head, his fist slams into the wall, leaving an impressive dent. The representative of the fair sex is speechless, and the brunette reports that it is she. She'd screwed up, so she shouldn't go out of her way to imagine that he'd be caring. According to the Reborn, the interlocutor does not deserve such an appeal to herself. Guy, he moves away from the girl, urging her not to bother him again, otherwise she may regret it. Yuxi asks to wait, claiming that if she can't live well, then neither can he, because as soon as his D-list celebrity showed up, she would make him feel uneasy. Girlfriend decides to find out how it went. Yuxi admits that she never thought he would change, so she decided that she would break up with Yi-Chen. Ji-Ping tries to calm her sister down because she should have to make this decision many years ago, and then get together with young Master Yuan, who he treats her much better. At this moment, the famous actress Ning Kui enters the building in escort of security guards. Many are amazed by its appearance in this place. They are also, I wonder what such a popular celebrity forgot here. The manager of the planning department goes out to Miss Ning, introduces herself, and asks if she's here. Come here to talk about collaboration. Mentally, the man is amazed that he has encountered an A-list celebrity. He assumes that this is the work of young Master Yuan. After receiving a positive response from the actress, he offers to go to his office to talk about it. The manager understands that if they manage to sign a contract with such a celebrity, they will be able to. The bonus will be tripled, so he decides to take this chance. The girl passes past it, moving on. He walks up to the hero and puts his hands on his shoulders, asking who it was and how quickly she got there. Yi-Cheng replies that it's fine, and that he won't. To say that it is slow. Yi-Cheng notes that his company needs a representative, so he suggests that the girl become him. Ta agrees. The manager freezes, not believing that the newcomer actually called. Miss Ning, Yuxi's friend, is surprised at how easily and quickly the actress agreed to this. You did it yourself. The girl thinks that this is simply unthinkable, because even she did not know that Yi-Chen is familiar with such a thing. A celebrity. Privately, she remembered that when the guy called her, he said that Miss Ning, his neighbor. Yuxi mentally notes that she has heard that some celebrities, they especially move to poorer homes to avoid the paparazzi, so Yi-Chen really likes it. It was lucky that he rented a house near the celebrity. The hero turns to manager Chen, saying that he had made an agreement, so they would only have to discuss the contract fee. Same in. The answer states that the company's budget is only 100,000 yuan, so that the star of this, a scale like Miss Ning's, probably wouldn't be enough. Yuxi claims that manager Chen, I asked him to find a regular representative, and he called a first-class star like Miss Ning. Didn't even consider whether the company could afford such a person. The hero waves it off from a member of the fair sex, saying that today is his first working day, and he does not. I knew they were such a poor bunch. The actress also admits that her fee for the contract, it starts at 5 million yuan, but she never said she wanted them for it paid. Others are surprised by this statement, because it turns out that the celebrity of such a, it will work for free. The girl thinks that you can't compare $5 million with Yi-Chen's work, so the manager should. You should take this as an improvement in sales from Yi-Chen, and the rest of the details are just like that. Discuss it with her assistant, because she's going to have lunch with Yi-Chen now. Hero rises from his seat, noticing that Ning was probably tired from the rush, so he would treat her to lunch. The interlocutor declares that it is she who should treat him, because he also saved her life. The manager is trying to recover. In his head, the words of a celebrity about what to do are spinning. Yi-Chen can't be compared to 5 million. The man tries to understand why he deserved this. Attitude to yourself. Yuxi's friend also believes that Miss Ning was deceived by Yi-Chen, and now he is. Easily manipulates a girl, like a good ringleader who is good at lighting up. By yourself. The girl starts to get angry at the whole situation. She doesn't understand how Yi-Chen had enough of this. The courage to say that it was she who betrayed him. Because, in her opinion, the opposite is true, because Ning Qi would never want someone as incompetent as Yi-Chen. Unsi is absolutely sure that The celebrity had been cheated, and when the rich woman herself found out, Yi Chen would surely die. A terrible death. After some time, the actress says goodbye to the hero, saying that if and what, he could call her at any time if she needed him, but she needed to get back to her phone. Work, but they can see each other at home in the evening. Yi Chen gives a short answer, accepting these words. However, he mentally notes that the other person says this as if they are returning to the same room and the same house tonight. The immortal's phone starts ringing. He picks up the phone, where the interviewee asks if it's worth picking up Master Yi because the banquet will start soon. The brunette gives a positive response, stating that it is located at the intersection of Dong Lai and Chun Lai roads, where there is a Jiazhong restaurant. The interlocutor decides to find out if Master Yi needs styling or new clothes, because he can do it. Deliver. The Reborn one thinks that this is too troublesome, and then asks, should he think that Miss Chu is shy of him? The interviewee replies that there is no reason to do so, and Master Yi is a special guest of their family, so of course he can wear anything. After that, the interlocutor informs that he will arrive in 10 minutes. Events are moved to your father. High-end Moon Palace. Yunxi enters it with Hao, marveling at the fact that it is the most beautiful place in the world. Luxury hotel in the entire Jiangnan city. She claims that Yuan Hao is so cool, and that he's not even a big fan. Someone as big as the Chu family invited him to their banquet. The blonde guy replies that he has a reputation. His father, he is still quite a famous person in Jiangnan. Then the beauty recognizes Yi Chen, sitting at the table. The guy tries to figure out how the brunette got in. Yuxi remembers what she could have done. Ning Qiyu, she even helped him with a $5 million business this afternoon. Right, that this is quite possible. Yuan Hao thinks it's impossible, because if she really is, if she brought him with her, then why did she agree to have him in rags, which are a disgrace to her? Hearing this, Yuxi assumes that the guy snuck in here. The blonde man agrees with her, saying that the guy was looking for trouble for sneaking into the Chu family's banquet. X calls security in. Pointing at the guy, he asks how a stray dog could have gotten into the Moon Palace. Shi calls to get him out of here. The guards approach the hero, not understanding how someone could just sneak into the Moon Palace and where did he have the nerve to do it. The immortal remarks, rising kippish and trying to figure out what's going on. Yuan Hao claims that his father is Yuan Zhong from the Education Bureau, and that man over there is his son, a fellow student at the university, a notorious punk, so he assures them that he snuck in here and calls to expel the hero now. The guard notices that since the young master said so, then he is sure that they were not mistaken. He goes up to Yi Chen and asks him to show them his body, an invitation, or they'll have to send him out of here. The immortal notes that his brought Chu Bingyu here, and that he had never heard anything about the invitation. The blonde guy is hanging above the hero, clarifying how dare a brat like him directly call out Miss Chu's name. Yuxi notes that Yi Chen should write a book for all his lies, after which she asks if he doesn't know what to do. Does a guy think he has some power just because he knows a celebrity? The guards ask you not to blame them for being rude, since Mr. can't show them his invitation. At this point, the hostess of the event appears. The beauty doesn't understand who dares badly contact Master Yi, and then notices that someone probably wants to get into the trouble. The guests are a little startled by Miss Chu's appearance. The blonde man freezes in shock, realizing that the guy has just been addressed as Master Yi. Miss Chu bows her head to the hero, begging for forgiveness and saying it's her fault. Yuxi intervenes in. This is by claiming that the guy is a real liar and that he molested another celebrity this morning. With their sweet speeches, the blonde turns around, noting that she didn't ask anyone else to do it. I told her what kind of person Master Yi is, and besides, she calls everyone out before saying what, or about others, think about who they are themselves. The blonde asks security to take the couple out. Yuan Hao asks to stop, because his father is Yuan Zhong from the Ministry of Education, so he was invited by the Chu family itself. The host of the event notes that his father did not tell him about the topic of today's banquet, so the guy should go home and ask him on his own. The couple is thrown out of the hotel. Yuxi complains that she is in pain, and her clothes are now, it's ruined. She can't figure out what kind of charm Yi Chen used on Miss Chu, and what makes him special to be there. The guy immediately calls his father to find out what the reason is. The Chu family is hosting a banquet today. The latter tells that one of the intents is today's banquet is to celebrate Miss Chu's recovery, and the second is to thank her, the person who was saved by Miss Chu. His surname is Yi. After these words, the blonde man falls out of reality. For a few seconds, Yuxi, noticing the guy's very worried face, decides to find out what's going on. That tells that his father said that this is a Chu family banquet, and he should thank the one who saved Miss Chu, and that person's last name is Yi, so maybe it's Yi Chen. The girl doesn't believe me. To my ears, Yi Chen had an accident right after arriving in the city, so when did he manage to save me? Miss Chu. That's when the blonde guy remembers that the day Yi Chen had an accident at the pier, the Audi crashed, and whoever was in the car may have been Miss Chu. Unsi clarifies that if this is the case, then so he was the one who saved Miss Chu, and doesn't that mean he's very rich now? The interlocutor is the same, emphasizes that this banquet is just a show, after which hardly anyone will remember about it. Fresh like Yi Chen, the blonde declares that after everything calms down, he is out of the ground, enough to settle the score. At this time, the host of the event says that Master Yi is their chief, a guest at this banquet, so she asks to address them politely, otherwise they shouldn't be blamed. Or for being rude. The guests reply that they understand everything. The girl also notes that all high-ranking individuals from all over Jiangnan City gathered here today to thank Mr. Yi, after which she asks Master Yi to show himself. The immortal doesn't mind. The beauty herself. In his mind, he marvels at Yi Cheng's calmness because he didn't show the slightest sign worry even while being the center of attention of Jiangnan dignitaries. The girl admits that what my father said is true because Mr. Yi is really a talented person. Miss Chu asks, let her show the guy the way. He also decides to find out if she is always so rude to people. The beauty shamefacedly looks away, saying no, but the two of them were very rude to him, so she couldn't contain her anger. The Reborn one laughs, saying that it's alright, because he likes people who don't like him. They are straightforward. The girl freezes, asking him what he likes. In the head of a blonde, trying to figure out if what he said is true, or if she just misunderstood him. He blushes deeply, deciding to stop thinking about it. After some time, the girl's father begins. Make a toast. He says that he would like to thank all their guests who, despite the busy schedule, still decided to take part in today's banquet. The man confesses that his daughter had been involved in an accident a couple of days ago, and if it wasn't for Mr. Yi's help, he would have died right now. I cried in front of the grave. My father declares that Miss Chu is a very lucky person. One of the guests. He says that the future of the Chu family will be even better. The girl also notices that the main character of this movie, Banquet Master Yi, the head of the Chu family, claims that the guests still do not know much about him, because the master, he is a really experienced doctor. Others doubt this. One guy notices that they have the right to call experts, elderly people in the medical industry, and the latter is too young. For this, the man next to him emphasizes that he looks like a student, so he doesn't have much. I wonder how good the guest's skills are. At this moment, a man's voice is heard from the crowd, declaring that Master Yi's skill is beyond him, and that it is absolutely and unbelievable. By this, the person turns out to be Dr. Chen, who notices that the guy has the right to be called an expert. He approaches the hero, saying that he has achieved a lot at such a young age, so that this toast is for him. The brunette notices that the man is flattering him. One of the guests says that Elder Chen is the dean of Jiangnan medical industry, so if he agrees with this, then Mr. Yi's skill is truly incredible. The interlocutor admits that they were wrong about him. At this time, Dr. Chen approaches the hero and he tells him in his ear what he's already got, what he's asked for, so all he needs to know is when. Send it to him. Yi Chen is a little surprised by this, noting that he got it out pretty quickly. After that, he asks to send everything to the #1 villa on Dragon Slumber Mountain. The next moment, the head of the Chu family enters through the doors. The hero immediately assumes that before him is a master of martial arts. The head of the Chu family is an aged man with a white mouth and a beard of the same color. Despite his age, he looks very stately and majestic. A man and a girl bend down. For the first, the head of the family is the father, and for the second, my grandfather. The man approaches the hero, asking if he is the same master who saved you. The Chen gives a positive answer, after which the older man thanks the guy for saving his life. His precious daughter, however, he is curious because he has heard that Master Yi has the ability to great skills, so who among the older ones taught him all this? Immortal shakes head over, stating he doesn't have a teacher, after which he decides to be honest, saying he never will. He has not studied anything related to medicine, and knows only the minimum. His interlocutor notices to myself that the guy is being too modest. The head of the Chu family assumes that the guy trying to hide who his teacher is. The man notices that the hero is a talented young man, so it's okay to be a little secretive. After that, the gray-haired man pulls out a gold piece. This is the official Han Dynasty seal that he managed to buy at that time, at the auction, and he kept it with him all these years. The man wants to give it to the hero as a sign. Thanks. His son is surprised by this because it was his favorite thing, which he did not play with. Parted for almost 6 years, the head of the family raises his hand, calling on his son to calm down and saying that there was nothing more precious than the deed that Mr. Yi had done for them. Yi Chen takes the seal in his hands, mentally noting that it is a fake. It also evaluates the look on Chu Jianfeng's face that tells him that the other person isn't playing with him, so rather, he probably doesn't even know it's a fake. The immortal decides that he will save him as well, life, since he is ready to sacrifice what is dear to him. The hero notes that he saved Chu Binyu to put an end to what happened through his fault, but now that Senior Chu is sacrificing most valuable, he feels guilty for accepting it. The guy notes that he sees that he has. There is some hidden disease, but he can get rid of it, but not now. These words, they make an elderly man wonder because the guy was able to see even this. Head of the Chu family declares that as Chen Pin said, Master Yi's skill is truly excellent because he is a master of the arts. I was able to find out his condition at a glance, which is truly incredible. An elderly man admits that his body has been getting weaker and weaker since the beginning of this year, and let it be. It will look different, but if this continues, it won't be able to last much longer. He didn't want to tell your loved ones about it, because I couldn't find out where the disease is located. Tianlong From states on his own behalf that he can guarantee that as long as he is able to treat his father, he will. Yu also asks for Master Yi to save her grandfather. The guy explains that in order to find out what kind of disease it is, a more detailed study is needed. No, but he'll do his best. After these words, the father turns to his daughter, saying that he had heard that Master Yi hadn't graduated from university yet, and was currently practicing in the food industry companies, so the man wants you to buy this company and give it to Master Yi. The blonde says that she will do it right now. Yi Cheng decides not to refuse the gift, mentally noting that Auntie Wang needs money, so she might need it. After all, this company will be able to solve some issues for her. After the banquet, hero returns home, reflecting on Chu Jianfeng's illness, which may be caused by demonic creatures, but it is more likely that the poison that caused the freeze. Chu Bingyu, just like him. If he correctly identified the reason, then everything becomes more and more interesting. From under, the door to the guy's house is lit, and when he opens it, he is met by an actress, asking where he was and why he was late. The brunette thinks it doesn't make any sense. Attitude towards her, so he clarifies why she is in his house. Beauty explains that he doesn't. He locked the door, and that she was still a little scared to live in that house alone. The guy decides clarify the situation by asking if this means that she has decided that she will live here. The celebrity does not give a direct answer, asking not to be so harsh and help the lady. She notes that when he wasn't around, she didn't feel safe. Hearing this, the immortal allows her to sleep in the guest room, but he asks her not to come into his room and not to disturb. Ning stomps his foot, calling the owner insensitive. She decides to sleep alone, noting that he makes it look like she wants to sleep with him. The hero takes a pose in his room, the lotus flower, and begins to cultivate. Streams of energy permeate his body. The guy realizes that once Chen Pin brought the herb, he would have to break through to the 5th level of refinement. Judging from Chu Jianfeng and Chu Bingyu's conversation, there are much more interesting things to do on Earth than he thought at first. He should raise his level faster. Beauty reports that is included. After a couple of moments, she finds herself in the hero's room, stating that she is not that. She wants to sleep with him, but she's just a little scared. Yi Chen continues to meditate in the lotus position. Beauty doesn't understand what he's doing. She walks up to him and starts waving her hand in front of his face, asking him if he's cultivating and why. He's meditating. A representative of the fair sex assumes to herself that the guy fell asleep. The brunette, without opening his eyes, declares that she is bothering him, so she either sleeps or goes out. He encourages you to stop wandering around in front of it. A celebrity goes to bed without further ado, mentally calling the guy a bore, but admitting that with him she is much more pleasant. Ning makes breakfast and hears footsteps. She opens the door, preparing to surprise the guy with a good breakfast. However, Dr. Cheng is there, asking if this is Master Yi's house. The girl informs me that these are the houses of Master Yi. She asks the man to come in while she calls the owner. The doctor also tries to understand why the interlocutor seems very familiar to him. The hero decides, check if Ning has any work to do today. She replies that there is, because she needs to take off today. A commercial for their company, so she'll be leaving soon. Beauty asks the guy not to forget. Have breakfast. The doctor also passes the package, saying that these are the things he wanted. by taking a look at. Finally, Yi Chen agrees, asking if he has a pen and paper. The doctor passes the hero a pen and paper. The guy starts writing something, saying what he already said. Something that will teach him something, but how much he can learn is up to him. Yi Chen. He finishes writing and gives the paper to the other person, stating that he has things to do so that he can. Make yourself at home. The man looks down at what he's written and is startled to the core. The souls, trying to understand what Master Yi Immortal wrote, go to their room. He notes that the herbs brought by Chen Ping are really good, and it seems that some of them, you can get a good pill. The hero sits down in the lotus position, and in a circle around him, there are herbs on the leaves. It concentrates the energy in your hands and forces all the herbs combined to form a red ball between your palms. This is an entry-level spiritual pill. Its creation makes the brunette think that his skill, the spiritual fire furnace, is still fine, and the spiritual energy that is in this furnace is still fine. A pill is enough to help him break through to the 5th level of Kai refinement. Hero swallows an entry-level red pill. He immediately feels the changes. An object, it begins to gather energy around itself. In the beginning, this benefits the Reborn immeasurably. Pain. But then the guy uses the Taikshuan Sutra, starting to absorb the energy. After a few moments, Yi Chen opens his eyes, realizing that he has broken through to the 6th floor, the level of Kai purification. The guy admits that he didn't expect the spiritual pill to be ordinary. The class is able to help him open 2 levels in a row and break right through to the 6th level. The energy inside him isn't what it used to be. Yi Chen decides to go to the company and take a look. How is Ning Qiu's filming going today? Then the guy notices that Chen Pin is getting up on his feet. He kneels in front of him and bows his head to the floor, so he decides to find out what he's doing. Man declares that the master is indeed a revived god, because he has read only a small part of what he says. He wrote it, and it feels like everything he ever learned before doesn't matter anymore. Values. The doctor notices that he knows that he was born stupid, and knows that he cannot meet his requirements, but he is really willing to accept him as his teacher. The immortal replies that the man is very smart, but in reality this is just his opinion about the future. Medicine is not as holy as he says, so he urges the man to get up quickly, because he is quite old and has weak knees. The brunette suggests that they may not become teacher and student, but if they don't understand something, they can ask directly. Doctor admits that there is another line that he doesn't understand very well. It points to her. Yi Chen enters the chairman's office. He is met by former chairman Ziyuming. Afterwards, for a while, he passes the documents to the guy, announcing that from now on, Jiaran is his. Hero admits that the Chu family is quite quick in their actions. The guy decides to find out if it has passed the news that he became the chairman of this company to the people, because she wanted to hold it in a secret. The other person doesn't understand why to do this. Yi Cheng explains that this is the only way he can see the real performance of the company's employees to prevent lies and deception. Immortal goes to his workplace in the planning department, meets him, a disgruntled manager, Chen Kun, who urges the intern to look at the time and declares that Tom shouldn't think that he's the king here just because he managed to call a celebrity. The man claims that he is only the 2nd day at work and is already late, so that if it happens again, he will be fired. The reborn person notices that a man has too harsh a look, after which he emphasizes that he has never seen the manager, who could just fire an employee, and he's an intern and signed a contract. Chen Kun is angry, noticing that the guy is not only late, but also cannot stand even a light swearing. The man decides to talk to his superiors. He calls the HR department and tells them what they have here. One intern is late and disrespects his boss. He asks you to take note of this and say they told him that he didn't have to come to work tomorrow. The Human Resources Department says that it doesn't have permission to dismiss him. Chen Kun doesn't understand what it means. He doesn't have permission. Besmertny clarifies whether he is now dismissed. The manager admits that he was going to fire him, but considering that he is late for the first time, he would give him a chance. Chen Kun leaves, telling him not to be late tomorrow. Inwardly, the man freaks out. After all, he really wants to get rid of Yi Chen. He wants to wait until the ad starts with Ning Qiu will finish to then find a way to kick the guy out of here. Besides, the man knows that the result of his internship will affect the end of his studies. The man wants to see the guy begging him then. Yi Chen's phone starts ringing. Then, he asks how he's doing and if he's had lunch. The guy replies that he's just about to. Interlocutor. He wants to know how his internship is going and whether he is being treated well. The hero asks not to worry about it because he's doing fine. My father remembers that Auntie Wang called him and said that he was visiting them. The guy gives a positive response, adding that if it wasn't for the trip, he wouldn't have known that he actually was. Arranged marriage. The man admits that he was just thinking about his future, and this time I called him to talk about Lin Zhu. My father points out that Lin Zhu is a student at the University of Hong Kong. Senior year. Yi Chen goes to Auntie Wang's house. He doesn't particularly like what his father says. I asked him to help the girl with her homework. The guy understands that his father is trying to bring him together, him with her. The immortal realizes that, at least in comparison to his past life, where he didn't even have a family, he thinks he might consider it a cute misfortune. The brunette knocks at the door. The hero is met by Aunt Wang. He invites him in. Then the guy notices Uncle Deng, who he's about to go somewhere, so he finds out where he's going in such a hurry. The man is a little bit surprised, but still tells that the actress Ning Qiyu cooperates with the company Jiaran Food Inc., which is now located in their city. He doesn't understand why such a small company can collaborate with such a big celebrity, so he made an appointment this afternoon with the marketing manager because he's heard that he's the only one in charge of this whole thing. After that, Uncle Deng notices that Yi Chen is here to teach Lin Zhu, so as soon as he gets there, he will be able to teach Lin Zhu. When she finishes her work, she'll give him something to eat. The immortal says goodbye to the man, after which, ask Auntie Wang if Lin Zhu is home. The woman reports that the girl in her room is doing homework, so he can stop by her place and she's going to wash some fruit for him. Then, Yi Chen walks up to the door of the girl's room, which has a sign that says do not disturb during the meeting. Studies. The Reborn one knocks, and Lin Zhu lets him in. The girl crosses her legs, hands on her torso, stating that she had agreed to let him practice with her exclusively. Because I couldn't beat my mother. A representative of the fair sex says that now that he is here, he must promise 3 things, and if he says no, he can just walk away. The brunette is ready to listen to her. She's the same. It starts. First of all, apart from her education, she wouldn't talk to him about anything else. Secondly, he should not touch anything in the room, especially her. Thirdly, she knows that her mom really likes him, but there can't be anything between them, so he has to take a break. You should never fall in love with her or even think about anything like that. Lin Zhu emphasizes that if he agrees to this, then she will agree to be taught by him. Yi Chen agrees to this, adding that he really hopes that she will also remember something. First, he's here because of his father and Aunt Wang. Secondly, apart from education, there is nothing for him here interested in. And as for the third, she thinks too much about herself, and he is not interested in her. Underage teenagers. These words make the beauty very angry. The immortal notices that they should stop wasting their time, so he asks her what she doesn't understand. Tench, Zhu doesn't understand why the guy is so obnoxious. She walks over to the table and points to something, a task that doesn't understand it. The girl decided to ask the most difficult question to watch. Does it know how to solve it? After running through the task, the brunette notes that it's not difficult, because she just needs to use a single formula. She wonders to herself what he can really decide. She approaches the guy, pointing to another task and telling him that another task is not necessary. Understands. Yi Chen claims that there is a part of the question that is confusing, but it doesn't help. It's worth worrying about, because he'll figure something out, and if it doesn't work out, then he will listen and try to solve it himself. Immortal thinks about the situation with money at Aunt Wang. He needs to make a skid for her, however, he can't just take money from Jia Ran, even though he is now the head. The guy realizes that he needs to earn money himself to help Aunt Wang. Lin Zhu then notices that the teacher is flying in the clouds, so she asks him where he's looking. Indeed, the hero's gaze was directed at the luxurious cans, a teenager while he pondered the situation. The girl asks if no one has told him anything. I told him not to stare at the other lady, because it was really rude. The guy apologizes, saying that I just passed out. The beauty decides to continue with her studies and not get hung up on this. After a while, Lin Zhu stretches in his chair, admitting that even if Yi Chen looks like he is, he doesn't know what to do. Just an expert, but a real expert when explaining questions. Then the girl's phone rings, and she says. He picks up the phone. She's talking to someone, noting that she's forgotten she's supposed to be here tonight. There, the girl asks the guy to come out so that she can change her clothes, because after that she will go to karaoke with your classmates. The hero asks again about karaoke, mentally asking himself, and did she go outside at this time in her previous life? The blonde asks what he wants to do. Her friend hides behind her. Both have moisture under with your eyes. A plump middle-aged man does not understand why ladies are so tense, because their brother Hai just wanted to get to know them better, so there's no need to be afraid. Girlfriend, Lin Zhu steps forward, warning them that they shouldn't even touch them. The blonde demands to be released. The man says he doesn't care what they want, but here he is. It's up to the boss to decide who to let go and who not to. Lin Zhu grabs the phone, stating that if they go one step further, she'll call. The fat man snatches the communication device out of his pocket with a quick jerk. The beauty's hands, saying that it's all useless, so they'll definitely go with them. He gives the order. Subordinates grab the girls. Two friends wring their hands and cover their mouths, not allowing them to scream. The fat man says that they look amazing. Brother Hai is a huge bald guy, says he's a good-looking guy. Play with the blonde. Then a voice from the side asks if the crowd of men is not ashamed. Bullying two ladies. Everyone turns in the direction of the voice and sees Yi Chen. Someone immediately asks who he is. The hero replies that, technically, he is their great-great-grandfather. The reincarnated one takes off and deals with two thugs in a few moments, not one of them, making a serious effort. He puts his hand on Lin Zhu's shoulder, asking if she's okay. The girl is still confused. The boss of the same institution declares that once the guy dared, if I mess it up with them, he won't get out of here alive. Brother Hai on the radio calls everyone to go to toilet. The girl thanks the guy for saving her, but there are too many people here. Same guy. He asks her not to worry, because he promised Aunt Wang that he would take care of her, so he wouldn't let anything happen to her. A few moments later, a crowd of people enter the toilet. Fat boss also offers the guy, try again, since he fights well. The brunette notes that it doesn't matter how much. He has people, because he won't let them touch her anyway. Brother Hai walks up to the hero, stretching fingers and asking if the guy knows who he is, so he'd better think about it before. Insult him. The Reborn one grabs the man's wrist, starting to squeeze with an inhuman force. By force and asking, this is the hand that he touched her with. Without waiting for an answer, the guy. She says that the man should say goodbye to her. Tears run down the man's cheeks and a pained wail echoes through the room. His brush. It has acquired a dark blue hue. He calls on the others to kill him. The boss also directs the crowd forward. They pounce on the hero. The red-haired girl is trembling with fear as she sits there. On the floor, Lin Zhu also makes a mental note that they have too many people, so Yi Cheng is in dangers. She's trying to figure out a way to get out of here and call for help. The immortal one releases a stream of energy from its body, knocking out all attackers. The fat man doesn't understand how this is possible, because one person has just dealt with 20. Lin Zhu's friend, on the other hand, is in complete shock and asks her if he has trained anywhere. Chen, the other woman, says she doesn't know. Her voice is shaky from the tension in the air. Brother Hai nervously asks who he is. The hero also breaks in the direction of the bully and does not have time to come to his senses as the guy's hand is on his neck. He decides to find out if they have any ideas. At this moment, a rich young man enters the room, asking Lin Zhu what is here happened. The boss recognizes Zhu Xiaoming and then calls him to look at the mess that is being made. His people did it. The guy asks what Yi Cheng is doing and urges him to let Brother Hai go. Hero, she asks him again, then asks if the guy really doesn't understand what's really going on. It's actually happening. Xiaoming turns his gaze to the girls, making a mental note that there's no need to ask. After all, anyone could have already guessed what happened here. The fat man calls the guy to action. He wants Master Yi to let Brother Hai go. Xiaoming, on the other hand, knows that he can't just go ahead and do it. Run into Chairman Wang. The guy asks Chairman Wang and Brother Hai not to be so angry. After all, this guy is a neighbor of her classmate, and he is from a small town and has never been here earlier, so he's asking for their forgiveness, and he wants Yi Chen to apologize to them directly. Now, the rich man calls on the hero to let go of Brother Hai, because he is sure that something has happened. This understanding. Inwardly, he stresses that he would never have thought that Yi Chen is so good at fights.